Ever wanted to learn a secret technique that will make your mixes wider? Well, this is the video for you guys. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about a simple technique, and it's one of the easiest things you can possibly do. However, it's one of the most difficult techniques to master. And the reason for this, I'm going to be explaining the technique before I reveal it, is that pretty much by using this technique, what we're going to do is we're going to pretty much increase the stereo field. But doing this, we are used to such a shorter stereo field that when we do that, we really need to mix way differently. So in this instance, what I'm talking about is that kicks cannot be as loud as they used to, or they're going to have to be louder. Leads cannot be as loud as they used to. They need to be put lower and somewhat, you guys kind of get what we're going at here. So if you have this kind of, already goal or like plan before you start a track already and it always works for you, this might fuck it up. But what you get in return for adapting to this is going to be a wider mix, a wider mix. If you've ever wondered how do people get their mix so wide, then this is going to be it. And the secret technique is putting an S1 imager from Waves on your master bus and putting the width all the way up. Now, instantly right now, you guys are probably going like, this guy is fucking crazy and whatnot, okay? And it's understandable for you guys to think that. I thought that the first time I learned this technique about 2 years ago, and I've been using it ever since, and I've been eerie on releasing it, but I finally decided to do a video on it. The only person I've ever seen talk about this technique is going to be a guy by the name of John Christian, who made this YouTube series, and he releases music with Protocol Recordings, which is Nicky Romero's label. But I have a feeling John Christian ghost produces on the side, because that guy's techniques are very advanced from what I saw in his videos, from just the little snippets he gave us. So this is one of those. Now it's very difficult to master again, because it changes up everything. But let me show you guys how it works. So right now I'm gonna play it with the S1 off, and what I want you guys to pay attention with your ears is pay attention to the white noise, and then we're gonna explain what happens. So right now the S1 is off, so the mix and everything might sound a little bit off, because I pretty much leveled everything according to when the S1 imager was on. So this is the way it sounds like right now. Okay, so if you guys remember what I told you to pay attention to the white noise, because that's one of the ways that you can tell how wide a mix is going to sound like. Now what we're going to add is we're going to put the S1 technique on, and now again, hear it, pay attention to the stereo field, pay attention to the white noise mainly, because this track is very bass driven. I had to put the sub and the kick in mono. I had to force it into mono, or else using the S1 stereo imager, it will cause the kick and the sub to kind of get wider, and that will really ruin things. So this is with it on, and again, pay attention to the white noise and all that. Okay, now I'm gonna play this part here, and I'm gonna turn it on and off so you guys can hear the difference. Here we go. Okay, so instantly right now, you're gonna be wondering yourselves, why is the kick and the bass and the sub bass staying in mono while everything else is getting wider when we have the S1 on. Now this technique is very tough, and you guys are gonna have to adapt to it. You're gonna have to find techniques in order to make sure that everything is still gonna stay relevant. It's still gonna sound good, okay? But as you guys can see, what we get in return is a wider mix. All right, so a couple of tips when you're using this. Always make sure to put your kick in mono, put a utility with the mono on, or use a stereo imager and take all the stereo away from your kick, your subs, and your basses. You can have your basses kind of have a little bit of info in stereo. However, I recommend you use a utility, put it in mono, and then let some of it go into stereo, not all of it. So you guys can still have some stereo to your bass. For everything else, if you want something to be in the center, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to implement the mono. And sometimes if you're using samples, a lot of these samples have been ran through stereo processors, so they're going to be wide as it is. But sometimes they're going to be too wide when you're using this technique because, again, they've done it so where they have the S1 imager already added, and then if you're going to add another one through this method, you're going to pretty much make it super wide to the point where the stereo is going to come out of this. So what we're going to do in order to combat that is you're going to put a utility that's mono, so your width is going to be at 0 here, and what we want to do is we want to increase it to around 50%, which is halfway, and then from there you can kind of level it off. Now this isn't going to put your thing fully in mono again, but it's going to help control the added stereo field that we have. So that's what we're going to have to do. Other things that you have to keep in mind also is when we're using this now, since we have so much of a bigger stereo field, stuff that is in stereo is going to sound louder. It's going to have a way higher perceived loudness, so it's going to be really loud at low volumes. So don't be afraid if you think, oh my god, this lead is so low, but it's bumping out of the mix when you're using this technique, because that's common for this to happen. All right, guys, so that's the technique. Again, S1 image stereo on the master bus, and what we want to do is put it fully width up. Now, don't be scared. There's some people that are gonna say, "Oh, that's totally wrong," and totally not. But in reality, what this allows us to do is it allows us to have a wider thing. And as long as you guys adapt to it and learn how to mix in this environment, this new, what I like to call new environment, because now we have so much more stereo, then you guys are going to be able to get really good sounding wide mixes. Anyways, guys, I hope this video helps you out. If you already knew this, props to you, and if you don't, go try it out and have some fun, and I'll see you guys next time.